A big breaking news coming in. Iran signals openness to genuine talks with US, rejects any pre-decided outcomes. Ali Larijani. Iran's top security official Ali Larijani has said that Tehran is prepared to engage in genuine negotiations with the United States but will not accept any dialogue in which Washington predetermines the final outcome. In a pointed message posted on X, the Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council accused the US of engaging in self-deception by attempting to project itself as the center of all global affairs. What does Larijani's message on X say? In his post, Larijani wrote that American officials try to portray themselves as the turning point of every global development, calling the approach a form of self-delusion. He made clear that while Iran does not oppose diplomacy in principle, it rejects artificial talks designed merely to validate conclusions scripted in advance by Washington. Real negotiations are acceptable, he said, stressing that meaningful diplomacy requires balanced, respectful, and unscripted engagement. Multiple Iranian and international outlets carried his remarks, highlighting his emphasis that Tehran is ready for talks on its nuclear program only if outcomes are not imposed. Larijani argued that negotiations lose their purpose when one party decides the conclusion before negotiations even begin. What's basically the context stalled Iran-US dialogue? Larijani's comments come amid a prolonged freeze in indirect negotiations between Tehran and Washington on nuclear and regional issues. Discussions that spanned at least 5 indirect rounds were effectively derailed earlier this year following heightened tensions and military escalations. Iranian media have reported that the joint US-Israeli campaign in mid-June, which included strikes on nuclear-linked sites and led to casualties among scientists, military personnel, and civilians, hardened Tehran's skepticism regarding Washington's calls to resume diplomacy. Iranian leaders have repeatedly stated that negotiations cannot proceed under pressure, threats, or punitive sanctions. What are the Tehran's conditions for genuine talks? Larijani and other senior Iranian officials have consistently maintained in recent weeks that any future engagement with the US must occur on equal footing. They reject attempts to include Iran's missile program or regional activities as preconditions, calling such demands incompatible with Iran's national security interests. While reiterating that Iran does not oppose dialogue, Larijani said talks must take place at the right time without insisting that Tehran spend uranium enrichment or halt missile developments as prerequisites. He criticized Washington for focusing on what he described as unrealizable issues, arguing that such exceptions block the path to credible diplomacy. Let's see the wider reactions. International coverage, particularly from Russian and regional media, has framed Larijani's comments as an important signal. Tehran is still open to a negotiated settlement but refuses any process resembling an imposed arrangement. Russia's TASS news agency noted that Iran is willing to pursue real talks on the nuclear file provided results are not dictated in advance. Domestic outlets have linked Larijani's stance to broader diplomatic messaging from Tehran. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi recently reiterated that Iran seeks a balanced agreement if both sides' concerns are respected. On the other side, analysts in Tehran say Larijani's formulation, genuine negotiations, not artificial ones, captures Iran's core position. Diplomacy is on the table, but only if it is grounded in reciprocity, respect, and unscripted outcomes. I am Syed Sajid Hussain with VJ Shadab Alam, GNI.